Good morning, everyone. The time is now 10 a.m. The recording is now on. Welcome to the Brooklyn Family Support Service Advisory Council. And just to remind everyone, as some of us are coming in now or coming exactly at 10, it does make it easy. We can start right on the schedule because we have a good agenda today. We need to get to business and get things accomplished. Once again, I welcome everyone to the Brooklyn Family Support Service Advisory Council. And I just saw that. Just to remind everyone that before we proceed, we have to follow housekeeping rules. As to remind everyone, there is a hand raise. Please use it. There is a chat box. Please use it. Please do not unmute unless you are announced or been announced and identified by the chair of the advisory council or the corresponding secretary or one of the advisory council exec members who is on here today. There are some of our members are on. As a reminder, please use your mute button. Please use the hand raise that is available on where the circle face smiley face is. The hand raise is there for a reason to be used. Anyone who acts inappropriate will be removed from the meeting. We have to keep the meeting professionally, respectfully to everyone, from parents to agencies to including our elected officials. We cannot act inappropriate in this meeting. Everything you say now is duty noted in this meeting. Transcripts is noted, including the caption. So, and as a reminder, the caption needs to keep track. One person speaks at a time, not 4 people, not 3 people, and especially not 2 people. We have to be very careful on that. And I'll remind everyone, the hand raise is very important. Caption is also available in the More button division when you see CC. Please engage it. It is on in this end. I have no clue if the other ends are on. Please make sure your captions are on, and please make sure you can follow those words, whatever you want them. If you want to make them enlargement, you want to make them smaller, you have that control on that. And as a reminder, mute button is there for a reason. If you're having trouble with your microphones, you can also use the phone line, which the number is here. Please look at this number, the meeting ID number, and the link to the video will be there once you call. Means we'll see you have your phone and your picture on. But a reminder, if you're using the phone line, always remember *6 is to mute and to unmute if you're using the phone line. So let's please have a great day in this meeting today. Beautiful day, and whoever's just unmute, please mute yourself. I remind everyone, do not touch the microphone unless your hand is raised or you're putting something into the chat. We cannot have interruptions and distractions in this meeting at all, in any meetings. So let me move on. At this time, before I do any, before we will proceed to any announcements, Madam Chair, anything you want to add into the housekeeping rules or proceed?
You said it very well. I just hope everybody please understand technology is still a work in progress. We're working very hard. We want to make sure that the written transcript as well as the video recording is on. And I want to thank my exec board members and members of my advisory council who are here today. With that, Chris, go back on to start with the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. At this time, we're up to announcements. If anyone has an announcement, please have your hand raised so we can then proceed. We are doing announcements first, so that's why if you saw on the agenda, it is announcements first. Does anyone have an announcement? Please raise your hand.
Has anybody raised their hand?
No.
Well, I do know some people put their information into the chat.
Not
And
not enough, Madam Chairperson, but at this moment in time, I'm going to remind everyone, we do need to know if you have any service openings, events coming up. So we're reminding you all, if you have an announcement, please raise your hand. It is available and it's on, or otherwise we'll just proceed to the next order of business. Up, got a hand raised. Sandy, not
Hi, good morning.
good
Can
morning.
you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
All right, perfect. Hi, good morning. I'm Sandy and I'm with EHAP Human Services. Just a reminder, we have vacancies in our site-based programs in Brooklyn. We also offer after-school services and in-home respite and community rehabilitation services. I'll put my information in the chat just for anybody that is interested.
Thank you,
thank
Sandy.
you.
Thank you.
Anyone else have an announcement? Madam Chair, that was the only person at this time has put an announcement in.
All right, then if there's no one else who has an announcement, you still can put in the chat. I would like to now go forward with the agenda, and I know that my sister council, brother council, the Brooklyn Developmental Disability Council, our chairperson Bryan Rosenstein is here, and he's the chairperson. Bryan, are you here? And you ready to? I know you have to announce 2 new committees coming up. So, are you ready?
Good morning. Yes, I'm here. I'm ready.
Okay, take it away.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Sorry not having a camera on today, having some internet issues. And when I turn on the camera, it's making everything lag. But just so everyone is aware, the next general meeting for the Brooklyn Council will be Monday, the 28th at 10 a.m. via Zoom, which is our normal 4th Monday of the month. We'll have updates from IAC, OPW, committee chairs, and I'm not sure if we have a presentation this month. But as Debbie mentioned, in regards to committees, we did merge some of our committees to not have everyone feel like they had to be in so many places at once throughout a month. So our transition committee has merged with our children's and employment committee to be the Meaningful Day and Employment Committee. So they're just getting everything together at this time. Hopefully we're going to have a meeting at the end of this month or the beginning of next month, and we will share out a flyer and the link as soon as all of that information is available. So keep an eye on that and on our website, bkddcouncil.org. We're also, hopefully by the end of this week, we're going to have final details on starting our residential and housing committee. We have 2 candidates that are very interested, so we just have to work everything out with them in terms of scheduling and timing. And again, keep an eye on our website. We'll send out all that information as soon as we have dates, times, Zoom links, and things of that nature that'll help people be able to attend. And I think that is all I have for today.
Well, that's good. That's good, Bryan. And everybody, I do hope you will participate in the meaningful day in reference with the employment transition, which is very important. We need to make sure that families understand that transition can be also from early intervention to preschool, from preschool to elementary, from elementary to middle school / junior high, and then from there to go into high school, and then of course when they're leaving. Remember that if a child is not getting an advanced regents or regents diploma, they are not going to be, they can graduate, but they're not going to be working. They can't, there's nothing to do. That is not, they'll be getting an IEP diploma. It is very important you tell the families that child has legal right to stay to age 22 in New York City. Most of the time they say 21, but there are times children turn 22 in the year that they're supposed to graduate for the 21st year, or the New York City Department of Education owes them a lot of services, whatever kind of services. So I know that that committee will be working very hard to help the families and also prepare our children to eventually, if they're able to work, they will be working. Brian, thank you. Is there anything
I have
else you
one
want
more.
to bring
Yeah,
up?
one more I forgot about. NIDA, New York Disability Advocates, they had released their legislative asks. So they came out with one pagers for providers and for families. I'm going to put, I believe I emailed that out if you're part of the Brooklyn Council mailing list. I'm
Yes,
also
Brian.
going to put that on probably around 12 o'clock midday today. It'll be on the Brooklyn Council website. In addition to that, they're also planning a rally at the Capitol. And that is scheduled for November 19th at 11 a.m. Again, more information will be on the website. It came out in an email from me earlier. If you're on the Brooklyn Council email list, you do, I believe, have to RSVP for it. It'll be November 19th, 11 a.m. at the New York State Capitol building in the War Room on the second floor. And they're encouraging everyone to wear orange. I believe that's it. No, thank you guys.
You're very welcome, Brian. I just want to say this. That's the same day as the Brooklyn Families Health Service Advisory Council is going to have our meeting in person at the Grand Army Plaza Library, and we're also doing it virtually too. So we won't be able to be there, but in spirit we will. But thank you for announcing it.
No problem.
Appreciate it. Okay.
Does anyone have any questions for Bryan Rosenstein, chair of the DD Council? And just to add one thing before it gets a chance for people to put their hands up, Brian, just letting you know, we did receive the email 1 hour ago. Just to let everyone know, we did receive the email, so it will be going on to the advisory email, as well as I know Brian will put his on the DD end. So does anyone have any additional questions for Brian? Thank you, Brian.
No problem, guys.
Okay, so our next part of our agenda is the Brooklyn DDRO, and I did see Nina here,
And Robin too.
and Robin and Angela. The whole kitchen, the whole world's here.
We're very happy that you ladies are here. Who will be giving the Brooklyn DDRO report? Well, good morning, Nina. Great to see you.
Good morning, Deborah. How's my sound? I'm going to be the one to give the updates today.
Loud
I can
and
hear
clear.
We both can hear you
All
loud.
right.
So I'm muting to make sure everyone hears you.
Okay. Thank you. So I'm going to start with the updates for our campaign, Modern Work. As you know, this is a statewide direct support professional campaign that was built and launched in March to help public to learn about the careers in our DD field. The campaign has been extended for 2 more years. Today, we have 227 nonprofit providers who are participating in the campaign. And since launching in March, the campaign's advertising has brought about 303,000 job seekers to the website, and more than 20,000 job seekers have visited the pages of our service providers from the website. In August, Modern Work campaign released to all developmental disability service providers a comprehensive recruitment tool intended to help agencies enhance their recruitment activities. This toolkit is available at the campaign website. If there are any service providers who have not joined this campaign yet, please reach out to our communications office. I can put the email address in the chat. There is no cost to join, and it's never late. I'm gonna move next to October. As you know, October is a early voting months, and we are preparing for the upcoming election. The deadline to register for to vote is October 26th. Early voting runs from October 26th to November 3rd. Election day is November 5th. So if anyone needs help with registering to vote, we have a contact person in OPWDD, Michael Erzell. I also have this information and I can share in the chat. We have some update about the CDPAP. It's Consumer Directed Personal Assistance Program. So on September 30th, Governor Hochul announced New York State's statewide partner is Public Partnership LLC will move its national headquarters to New York State. This move will create more than 1,200 jobs for New Yorkers. Public Partnership LLC, in short PPL, will work with 30 regional home care partners to ensure multilingual, culturally sensitive care is delivered to the participants. As part of this process, CDPAP eligibility for home care users will not change, and individuals who receive care through the program will not need to reapply. I believe in New York State we have about 250,000 CDPAP users, and if I'm not mistaken, around 5,000 individuals are receiving both OPWDD services and enrolled in the CDPAP program. So this process of engagement between PPL and home care agencies will strengthen the services and the system, and state officials and partners will now begin a comprehensive transition process that will include direct meetings with CDPAP users, caregivers, disability and aging advocates, and other stakeholders throughout the coming months. And as you know, OPWDD has its own fiscal intermediary program, which is outside of DOH, through our FI program is self-direction, and our program will remain as is. We do not anticipate any disruption of services, but if anyone has the concerns, they should be working with their care managers. Okay, so that is for CDPAP. I also wanted to mention that Guidehouse, as you know, is working on self-direction evaluation. So what they are doing right now, they presented information at different councils. Right now, they continue to engage directly with Self-Direction Developmental Disabilities Advisory Council on the development of the self-direction manual for families and individuals, and they will bring back to the committee on the survey results that were conducted for individuals and families, and the final report is expected to be released in spring 2025. For CCO evaluation, just to remind you that American Institute for Research is working on evaluating the effectiveness of care coordination practices. They have conducted about 35 individual and family interviews. They had 2 care manager focus groups and 1 self-advocate focus group. To discuss CCO activities, and a final report is expected also in early 2025. I want to briefly mention that HCBS waiver renewal application was renewed on October 1st for the next 5 years. Most of the changes were technical in nature. We have updated the renewal for enrollment, HCBS figures, and fiscal neutrality calculations. And as you know, OPWDD maintains its authority to operate its comprehensive waiver, which includes a full area of person-centered community-based services to almost 100,000 people with developmental disabilities throughout the state. So we have the approval is through September 30th, 2029. And I think, and that's it for me for today.
Nina,
you.
I have a
Thank you.
question for Nina. Thank you for the report, but I have a question.
Sure.
Can you clarify to me? You said the statewide, which council is working with self-direction to fix
The guidehouse is working with self-direction, Developmental Disability Advisory Council.
oh, the DDAC. Okay. Just wasn't sure. And thank you for letting me know about that. Also, I'm glad to hear that the waiver for New York State for OPWD was accepted. And as you know, that I hope you'll be staying on, but we are still working on the ADM reimbursement to update and make certain we're advocating for changes, which I will be going through since I want everyone to know what the statewide report is. But I want to thank you for the report. It was very comprehensive. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Nina? Okay. Nobody wants to ask her a question.
Hold on a second. I'm checking the chat. Please wait a second.
Okay.
And I'm going to remind people to please if you have a question for Nina, please, at the same time, which I'm trying to open the chat. There we go. No, there's a lot of announcements coming in now. All of a sudden, everyone's putting in the chat.
Okay.
But Nina, when you have a second, can you send us that information so we can add it into the it is part of the words, but the email links that you just mentioned to us, can you make sure that's in the chat, please?
The email link for the agencies who would like to join the modern work campaign.
Yes,
that's
one.
Yeah,
And
the other one is for if anyone needs the assistance with voting registration, I'll forward.
Good, thank you, because we want to make sure everyone knows that as long as you are born here in the United States or you've been a naturalized citizen, you have the right to vote once you turn age 18. And we're not telling anybody which party they should join, but they do have the right to vote as long as they're registered, because New York State they'll register, and the dates you gave were correct. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thank you. Does anybody have nobody has any questions for Nina?
Let me ask this again. Does anyone have any questions for Nina? Because I know that some of us, let me ask Brian for the DD Council Chair. Do you have any questions for Nina?
No, I don't.
Thank you. Okay, so since no one else has any questions for Nina, or they're all maybe still enjoying that 3-day weekend, Nina, thank you so much. It looks like we're moving kind of smoothly today.
Okay, and I'm really interested to hear about the FSS activities that Brooklyn FSS Committee is engaged in, and I really hope that we can get to that today.
Oh, we will.
We
Okay,
because making you
That's
laugh.
why we reversed the agenda. That's why we did it that way, because we want everybody to hear.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Does anybody else have any questions? Nobody has questions for Nina, but you did a great job.
There's a question in the chat for Nina. It says, "Can you share with us your email into the chat?" And just to remind everyone, please make sure that you visit the council's websites. it is very important to please, because those information is available also on our websites. Madam Chair, we do have a hand raised, and I'm going to that hand raise. So let me
Okay.
see. William, you can unmute yourself, please.
Thank you. Nina, the HCBS waiver that was just released corrected an error on the part of OPWDD that mischaracterized IDGS as support and not services. When will the corrected ADM come out from OPWDD?
They are working on the DM. We have collected enough feedback, and we have enough comments that we have received, and central office is working on that.
Actually, the only one you
I
need
do
is the
not
one
have
from.
the date, though. I do not have the date for the release, but it's in the works. It's coming.
And in the interim, I assume that FIs or care managers will be using the correction from Medicaid CMS instead of the old ADM. Is that correct?
I can follow up with us to give you the exact update. I can follow up and get back to you on that.
Yeah, because obviously the longer the OPWDD delays, the eligibility or the eligibility issue continues. So haste is not waste in this case. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Let me just make sure. Nina, does anyone else have any questions for Nina? This will be the last call. And Nina, as Nina just put her email address onto the link, and she is reminding you communication office at opwdd.ny.gov for providing to join any more of the working campaign. She did set that up, and Nina just put her email onto the chat. So please, everyone, before we proceed to the next part of our agenda, if you all go to your chat boxes, there is near the, not all the way to the top, but there is a capital A and a down arrow. If you download the chat and make sure the switch is on, or it says download the chat, you can save all the announcements and all the information that's in your chat box. Once you leave the meeting, it will pop right up to your computer. So I just want to make that clear. Thank you, Nina. Since no one else has an additional questions or comments, we'll move on, Madam Chair.
Yes, we will. And I thank
So,
Nina for the report. Thank you very much.
and I'll move on to the next part of our agenda, which is the Advisory Council Outreach Update Report, which is me. First of all, good morning again, everyone. I'm going to start first with the Advisory Council partnership with the Brooklyn Public Library. We are starting again our little traveling around with Developmental Disability Resource Fair with partnership with the library. So just to remind everyone, our first one coming up will be starting on November 8th. All of them are going to be on Fridays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And just going to remind everyone, there is no more space for November 8th. If you did not put in your information by October 10th, the deadline is done. Because as I remind again, and Madam Chairperson will vouch with me, we have to make sure there is enough room for families, wheelchairs, walkers, and everyone who comes with their devices have space to go through. We have to be very careful at a library because libraries, some spaces are small, medium, large, and once in a blue moon, we might get a supersized space. We remind you all it is open to everyone from the baby to seniors. We will have different agencies attending. And just a note that the MTA will be there So if anyone has not updated their information on the reduced fare, this is the time to do that now, because by the end of the year, everyone will be getting in the mail the Omni card reduced fare. And that's including accessoride. And I will discuss that in a little bit. But we will have different agencies. Other
Chris, I want to add something before we go on in reference to the resource fairs.
Go ahead.
Okay, I want every agency and person to understand. We are partnering with the Inclusive Services, and we thank Carrie Banks. The reason why we can only have a certain amount of agencies is also called the fire code laws. If we go above the amount of people that are allowed in the room and we don't have a true appropriate access or to leave, if God forbid, which there is a fire or an emergency, we, as for overloading the library, we could be held responsible. I want everyone to be aware that it doesn't mean you cannot come. You can leave your information with us on the information table. The library, Carrie Banks then takes it, and it is shared with all branches in Brooklyn. And we even give it into the Andrew Heskell Library, which is people with visual or blind in New York City. And the New York Public Library does come and sits with Carrie at their library table. We try to get everyone signed up. We're not saying that if we had our way, we'd love to have gigantic rooms and have everybody come and have tables, but this doesn't mean that your information won't be shared. So please come, bring your information. Even if you don't have a table, we will put your information. Carrie will see to it that it is shared in all branches of the Brooklyn Public Library as well as Andrew Heskell. Christopher, continue, please.
And just to remind everyone, it's not just that library, it does go to all the other 4 boroughs. And that is not I did not do that. That's the library sharing information. And just so everyone know, we have been getting a lot of good relationship, the Queens, Manhattan, and yes, the Bronx. And they have been working with us, so we do like to thank the other borough libraries as well. And just to remind you, if you're interested to get a table, please email us for the December 6th one, which will be in Park Slope at 431 6th Avenue, the corner of 9th Street. That is a block up from the 7th Avenue on the F and G, which is now accessible. So, and there are buses that go there as well. So I am going to move on to the next part of the agenda. Now, I have mentioned just a few minutes ago the Omni. And some of you have reduced fare Metro cards today. A lot of us in agencies and OPWDD, we need to make clear that all group homes, they have programs that all the individuals, and that's including seniors, their information is up to date. There is a link, which I will be putting that information into the chat so you guys can do it yourselves, or you can assist someone. And just to remind you, this will be at the library since it's been doing it since last year. We are still continuing it there as well. Thanks to the Advisory Council, Brooklyn, and DD Council, and I'm going to say next door to us, Queens and Manhattan, the numbers have gone better and strongly because everyone has updated their information. That is up by 98% of this year, better than last year. But that's a different issue and different things. But just so everyone know that this is how it looks like. It's very easy steps. And I'm not going to go over it, but this is an example. The main thing is everyone must still have an email. It doesn't matter if you have Accessoride, you can combine them into one email account. And that's another day for a presentation that I am not going to do today. So this is what it looks like. If you're just choosing the card, it is not a problem. And I will remind you, it's not a credit card, it's a real Omni card that someone else you have seen when I used, or what Debbie used, or Ann uses. So just to make that clear. On a good note is thanks to all our borough DD councils and advisory councils, The capital has passed by the MTA board. First time I have to say this, all board members voted yes. There must be a God up there. There is going to be some open housing. So guys, you have questions or comments, get ready for those dates. This is the first one that's coming up, which is next Monday, October 21st. This will be at Grand Central train station it's at the Vanderbilt Hall from 3 to 6. More dates and information will be coming available. And just to remind everyone that the MTA Capital is linked to our website. I know it's linked to Brian's. I might be wrong, so please, sorry, Brian, if I said it wrong. Just so everyone know that it does show you what stations will be getting accessible, what technology we're proceeding up to. And I'm going to move on to the next page because this relates to it. And just to let everyone know that it is important that we do let our elected officials know, because it's not just trains and buses, it's Access Ride, it's the MTA buses, it's the stations, and doesn't have to be a subway or bus, could be the railroads and the bridges as well. And bridges are also part of us too. And this is all the links, and all this information is linked to our websites on both councils. This is what it looks like now. After 5 years fighting for getting more additional accessibility, just to let OPWD know, and just let everyone know, there is no ghost train in Staten Island. There is an R211S in service. This train it looks like the same outside, but the inside under the wheels and everything is different. It is computer controlled a little differently, but the drivers are still driving the train. But opening the doors are much differently. So, and just let you know, this train is a 5-car train, not a 4-car train. So this is a half a train. Right now, right as of now, we have 3 different sets of R211s. We have the T and the A, which they're both running on the A and C. So if you're going towards East New York or JFK or Washington Heights or Inwood, you will see those trains running as well. In Staten Island, it's the R211S, Staten Island. And just to remind everyone, it is important to please remind our elected officials, transportation is important because we need to make sure our day habs or group homes getting the necessary transportation to where they have to go. So we're reminding you, please book your elected officials and other business as well. But transportation is one, healthcare, everything. Please make sure you visit their websites and please bug your elected officials. We're asking you to bug the state officials because they're the ones have to do the final budget voting. So we're encouraging you all to please contact your state officials. As Nina mentioned earlier, and I'm going to remind everyone, please make sure you're registered to vote. You still have time to register. And just to remind everyone, as Debbie and I and Ann have been doing the accessibility ballot, the ballot does come to the email, and we do get a sticker that has Braille, thanks to Ariel, which forgive me if you guys cannot see it because I'm guessing my camera's frozen. What we're asking is to remind everyone that it is important to register to vote. You still have time, and you will get envelopes in the mail, and you could get once you color it in from the computer, it's like the BMD, ballot marker device, that can help you vote who you want. And then once you're done, fold it. You can bring it to the Board of Election. You can bring it to any polling site in that borough. Once that's done, you're done.
Okay,
So,
Christopher,
yes,
this is the actual sticker you get if you vote by mail for
yes,
accessibility. It does
yes,
have Braille on here. I
yes.
can't bring it any closer because then it disappears.
Yeah, and that's why we're not worried about it. Just moving on.
Okay, go on.
Okay. As of right now, this is the time. If anyone have any questions, comments, this will be a good time to please ask any questions that you have on this report. Bryan Rosenstein, do you have any questions from the DD Council?
No questions, Chris.
Okay, thank you. Nina, do you have any questions? OPWDD? Nina, do you have any questions?
No, I don't. Thank you, Chris. I'm sorry, I was looking for unmute button. I'm here.
Not a problem. Okay, since no one else has any questions at all, and I see, okay, Madam Chair, since no one has any other questions at this time,
We
if
will go
you,
on to my report.
yes, I was just going to say this. So thank you, everyone. Now we'll move on to the Brooklyn Advisory Council's. Oops, sorry, I a little too fast. Deborah's report will be as chair and statewide report. And Deborah, it's your turn since I'll turn to the next screen.
Good morning, everybody. The statewide met in September, Wednesday, September 25th. It was virtual and in person. I stayed in the Manhattan location, which was at the Center for Family Support. Many of our members were in Albany and fewer in the Buffalo region. We had very lively discussions, but I will now click on this. Okay. First thing I want everybody to know that we know the annual survey, site visits, and contract reviews canvas findings continued. We sent out, as well as OPWDD, sent out surveys to ask about what is going on in their region. Another thing we've done is to, as I say, we're reviewing the sites. We're reviewing, there's contracts they're going through. One of the roles of the advisory councils are to do site visits and talk with the local DDRO to advise them what they feel like should this program continue or not. The other thing which we did, which is data sharing, we're making sure that all the councils will be able to share data. I will soon get on to this report. I just want everybody to know. Okay, here we go. The other important thing I want everybody to know is about, yes, we did talk about a few of the priorities first for the RFP. Now, New York City, I want everyone to know, we're Region 4. I'm only going to say what Brooklyn has. Ours is housing advocacy, housing modification, and let me find the last one. Let's see. Okay, I'm checking here. We're doing housing advocacy, housing modification, and crisis intervention. We don't know when RFPs are coming out. They said maybe January, February. We don't know yet. And also all councils are working to make sure their bylaws are consistent with the statewide and that our coordinators have copies of our bylaws. And for now, Brooklyn has it with our family support coordinator, Robin Muni. She and I will work together about if there are any changes. The exec board members of the advisory council will work together to make sure. Now, this is the biggie that we did talk about. It's called allowable with the ADM reimbursement. Yes, since we last spoke, as we said last month, there was more put on the allowable. Now, I will explain how my subcommittee does this. Then what we're doing, and it's very important that we're asking not just the families, but we're asking the agencies. Since changes came with the ADM reimbursement, how difficult has it been for you with paperwork? Because I thank NICET for speaking during public time, who explained issues that they're having to be able to process and do family reimbursement. And please remember something. I hope if you don't remember this, I'll update you on this. When it was OMRDD, not OPWDD, The first project, it was a trial to try was family reimbursement. It was the first family support program that was it tried to see how it worked. It worked great. As you've seen, it's one of the most popular programs. Now, what many of us were asking is that if in Long Island you can get ex, pay for like sport lessons like soccer, baseball, golf, and yes, they put skiing on because don't be surprised. Many of our individuals do ski. In fact, in Special Olympics, there is skiing competition as well as figure skating competition. Yes, Chris is a retired Special Olympic athlete, and I'm a retired coach, and I witnessed it in their winter games. Now, we were able to get on the noise canceling ear covers. We even were able to get onto indoor-outdoor swing set. We're also trying to see, we finally got museum membership. But some of my my fellow members not too happy because many of them go take their children to the zoos or the farms, which in a way I can call an outdoor museum because you're learning about how animals live and how to take care of them, which is one of the most popular program who should be on included. So what is my fellow members doing? We're collecting data. That's why I say to everybody can hear my voice, please put it in writing for me and let me know how difficult it is. Chris, go down to the non-allowable list, please. As you see, these are non-allowables. Now, I do understand about certain things covered by Medicaid, certain things, but we we understand about things for like travel. We understand why certain things are said no to. Okay, so what is my members doing? Well, thankfully, the co-chair of the statewide, Ms. Gail Pato, is fantastic with math and figures. Why? What she's doing is we gather the information for each of the regions, what is allowed and what's not allowed. We're checking justifications and non-justifications because when you are asking for reimbursement, you do have to justify. We also want to make sure that everyone has the receipts in the correct fiscal year. Now remember, and I will say this every time I talk about this, that New York City is in a different fiscal year than the rest of the state. So that means region 1, 2, 3, and 5 are April 1st to March 31st. We in New York City are July 1st to June 30th. So when we're just coming into our first quarter, the other regions are in their second quarter. But that's the one thing we're okay about. Now, the other thing we wish that we're trying to do is Gail's putting it right now on big spreadsheets. We're not sharing it yet because we want to gather the information's needed. Because you see, they originally weren't going to allow covers for mattresses. So how did I justify it? I legally have the correct paperwork and information from the New York City Department of Health, which is consistent with the New York State Department of Health in reference if the mattress is infested with either bed bugs or it's been damaged or destroyed because of the incontinence or issues with the individuals. And that you must make sure that the mattress is covered correctly, zippered, taped up before you put it back on. And I made sure that the information was I gave it to Gail, and Gail we put it on the truck, but we also sent it to central office. And what does this say? Is that because we made sure to get justification, we had facts, because we have to prove why this is really needed. We need to prove where things are falling through the cracks. Like right now, I can understand reference with diapers. Let me tell you, some of the diapers that you can get from Medicaid, they're not very good quality. And that the person will constantly soil their clothing. Out, we have to justify why it's needed because of their disability, whatever. And it's a work in progress. And that's why we're asking all 5 regions to send us information of what issues are affecting, so we can do this in a positive way where you see that the individual needs this because due to their disability, it is very uncomfortable for them to be in diapers that don't fit well or don't absorb well, because it can affect their physical health. Now, we also are going, Chris, scroll down a little more for me, please. Now, no, we're not, okay, as you see, there's other household expenses, duplicate expenses. Now, we're working very hard to meet with, and as we tell everybody, to please, you need to get the information to me so that we can put it together, so that when we have the meetings with OPWDD, and I'm talking central, because I do not blame our local DDRO, I will not blame Robin, I definitely will not blame Angela Blades, I don't even blame Nina or anyone, because you see, this was put together through central. That's Albany. And we are working we know we're not going to get everything off this list, no matter how much we try. So we're trying to work very, very hard with this. Go down a little more, Chris. Scroll down. Thank you. And as you see, well, you see, we're still going to be working on different stuff. Keep going down. Because you see, yes, we did ask for consistency. We asked that if
This
I
is the
can
bottom
have,
page.
okay, I know. Okay, stay right there. What is good in Region 5 is also can be covered in Region 4, 3, 2, and 1. That's the consistency we asked. It was made a little too draconian, and yes, I have said that because that is not what we asked for. We asked for consistency, and we will ask everyone. Look, we may have a problem with the GPS tracker, but yet we don't, because I know that we have individuals who are famous for running, leaving without us knowing, and they cannot communicate due to the developmental disability. We don't want anything bad to happen to any of them, and it's not because we want to spy on them, but we are trying to figure a way to keep them safe. Okay, go down. I know this is the last one.
This is the last page. We're in the bottom page.
Okay. Okay, I know. Okay. So, what I'm asking, and is you saw the list, and the list is on our website, OPWDD's website, as well as the Brooklyn DD Council's website. It is extremely important for everybody to understand why and where and how we're going to be able to make these changes. That means, like, if you applied for reimbursement for things that you used to get that are now on the non-allowable list, well, guess what? You need to let us know that in writing. Now, remember something. Family support services, especially reimbursement, is not an entitlement. There is no entitlement for us. This means straight out that it's a great, it will help families, but that doesn't mean every year you'll get the same reimbursement. We have more need than we have funds for the families. So we do need to share, and please understand that we have to share to see that everybody whose child lives at home with family members are able to get some form of reimbursement that will be a help to the families. It is extremely expensive to be a parent of a child with disabilities, and especially developmental disabilities, because our children they may be an adult in their body, but they're a child in their mental and emotional age. Now, that's a very important thing. So before we go any further, does anyone have any questions or comments? Nobody? Okay, agencies who are here, who have reimbursement programs, are you having issues with paperwork, or you would rather email it to me? Because we do want to put it, because every piece of information we receive, I share this with my committee members, and we are going to put it together in a spreadsheet so that we can help OPWDDC where and how important some of the things that they have now on the non-allowable list should be put back onto the allowable. We also got them that we're still working on to make sure that they have guidelines medically, because the doctors, not every child goes to a doctor that is a specialist in developmental disabilities. So we need to make sure that the medical profession would probably love to have some guidelines on what you mean from OPWDD. Now, the reason why I'm now going to go over to about the RFP for the Family Support Program. A survey was put out by the statewide, and I thank the former chair, Mr. Christopher Pelagia. He's in Region 1. He put it out, and when we got the results for Brooklyn, Region 4, all I kept seeing was housing, 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 housing. Housing, I'm going to be evicted. I need to modify because my child can't, it's hard to maneuver, get them around here or there in the house or out of the apartment or house. So, and since I do know for a fact that when some agencies who have housing programs, advocacy, go with the family to the courts, it is very helpful, because housing court is very intimidating and nerve-wracking, and you can be confused by it. So I want in there for the agency to actually go with the family, because trust me, it makes it a lot easier for the families to understand that your landlord has a lawyer, you need to get a lawyer, but your advocate is for your child to help you so you can live there where you're living. And you should know that the housing court has their own lawyers. So by knowing how to work and deal with that process makes life easier. When it comes to the housing, to like put a ramp in and stuff, we know only one agency at the moment in New York City, Region 4, is doing it, and I know their waiting list is outrageously long. But housing modifications are very important. And we do know crisis intervention, behavior issues are also very important. But I put down what was answered by the surveys. Now, I don't know the exact date when the RFPs are coming out. Everybody will know because it'll come out on the OPWDD website. The next statewide meeting will be Wednesday, December 5th in Albany, or Center for Family Support for New York City region. And I don't have the correct address for the Buffalo, so I won't give that address. So again, nobody seems to have any questions Probably done a great job of explaining, but it's very important. I really appreciate if people would get and contact me. Now, we got some more important information from Social Security in reference to SSI. One, they've made following simplifications that have been effective now since September 30th, 2024. They're omitting food from in-kind support and maintenance, or as they call ISM calculations. They're no longer including food in their calculations because it's a type of unearned income that may affect a person's SSI eligibility or payment amount. They are expanding their rental subsidy policy for applicants and recipients who are related to the landlord or their spouse as a parent or child. We will no longer consider that someone is receiving discontinued. I can't see this. Chris, move it up a little.
You can't. You have to do that on your end.
I can't see. All right.
Let's just move
Well,
on.
all right. As you see, these are positive changes that are happening. Now, as you see, it'll make life easier because it's one or two less things that we'll have to worry about. So if we're having, you see they're saying, I'm not going to explain the rest of this, but it is on the website, and we will ask for, well, unfortunately, he passed away. Mr. Charlie Hope is a great benefit specialist. I hope we can get someone from OPWD Fiscal who can explain all the positive changes, and hope most of them are for the Social Security. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
Madam Chair, you're still not done yet. You got to finish the whole
Done.
thing first.
All right, go down. Is there any more? Guess what I got from, we got this from, look what else we're getting. Restaurant meal program. They're now letting us get, if some, oh, it's wonderful. For anyone who is over, it's a pilot program. It goes by, I believe, your age, especially the seniors, because Jennifer Scholl sent this, as you know, she used
and disability.
And disability. We can now, I'm not saying you could spend your whole SNAP on the restaurant, but if you can now get some hot or cold meals. You know, the last time this was done was when, right after Sandy, when former President Obama did allow us to be able to go and to get hot food because many of us could not cook in our where we lived. But as you see, they're getting an updated list of participating restaurants can be found in the restaurant meal program. Participating can confirm their RVM eligibility by visiting the ETB Edge and creating or logging into their account. And it also tells you how to create a new one. And you see we can click here. I don't think I should right now, but you can call. And then what we'll try to do is we'll try to get Jennifer Scholl to come to either this meeting or one of our meetings so she can update us, or she can send us updated reports. This is great news to know. There are times.
Yeah, Madam Chair, you're breaking up at the same time, but let's be very clear. This information is available on our website in our news update page, which you guys can visit that page and get that information there. This restaurant program is not just going to a supermarket, but let's use an example. IHOP is listed on that list. If you look at the restaurant list in the 5 boroughs, those where you can find. That information is available on our website.
Thank you, Christopher. Is there any other page that you have to scroll up for me?
The next meeting date.
Okay. As you see, next month, we're going to be in person at the Grand Army Plaza Library, main the central for them. And we're going to be in room 214, but we're also going to still be doing it virtually. So if you physically cannot make it, we will be linked. You'll be able to participate with us also virtually. As you see, still Ring Central, still the same ID. So we're going to do both. And our topic is how to help families with developmental disabilities. Last month, the Inclusive Services had their resource fair finally in person. And we were outside on the actual Grand Army Plaza, like the front part. We had a beautiful day. Everything was great. And yet we still have people who don't even understand what OPWDD is. So we need to work together. Also, who will be there? The chair of our legislative committees, Lucina Clark and Maria Willis. And what do we want everybody to understand this. You can't just advocate once a year to your elected officials for help. We constantly, because people don't understand that when you have a family member has a developmental disability, it's for your whole life. It's not where they think, oh, they can give you a pill and that's not true either. But they need to understand the difference. So we're trying to show families how they can work with their local elected officials, city council, state assembly, state senate, even the mayor's office, the public advocate, the borough president's office, the New York City controller, yes, and New York State controller. But all elected officials will know who we are, and we're going to help coach everybody the way to communicate with them. One important thing is pictures. In fact, you should take not just a picture of your child, take a picture of you and the child, or the family you and the family with your child, so they can see that you all live together and that your child is a part of you, and this is what you need assistance because of your child's special unique needs. So I appreciate we'll both have Maria as well as Lucina. Is there anybody who has any questions, comments? Anybody?
Guys, this is Chris Greif. I'm going to remind you all that it is important to have any questions you have. This is the time to mention it. If you are not going to it's really important to answer those questions. I'm just going to check.
I want to bring this point up. Everyone tells me I'm having all these issues, all these problems. Oh my God, what am I going to do? And then when I give you the chance to communicate, and OPW does want to hear you, you don't. So I'd appreciate if you say something. Hello, Tova. You have something you'd like to say?
Hi,
Okay.
it's Tova here. Thank you, Deborah, for the opportunity.
Yeah.
So one thing, as you mentioned, as you went through the new family reimbursement guidelines, is that wipes can be covered if not covered by Medicaid. To the best of my knowledge, wipes are never covered by Medicaid. So that should be clarified. I will check with the pharmacy I work with, but I believe when I spoke to him last, he told me it's never, ever covered.
Can you get that in writing? Could you see what'll help, Tova? I thank you for saying that. And reason why I'm asking you, if you can ask the pharmacist or the medical supply place you're working with, if they can give some kind of printout for you that says this is not allowed by Medicaid. Why? Because we know how important those wipes are. But we need to let Medicaid
They're
is not
necessary.
Right.
Right, they're necessary, but we don't need every family to get a denial for it because it's never covered. So I'll try to get that letter.
If that would be a big help, or like even they have a denial list, ask him what denial list that can be, because you see, when we have proof, it does help. I'm not going to say it's going to change things right away, but we have to keep coming up with correct proof, why it's needed to, how much it costs, and how it affects the budget of the family, as well as it's denied by Medicaid.
Right. And I'll just give a shout out to my favorite medical supply pharmacist. His name
Yes.
is Ari at Elm Pharmacy, and he is so good to the parents of kids with disabilities. He really tries to help them. So
I
I'll
appreciate
ask you for the email.
I appreciate, and please tell Ari we're not trying to get him in trouble. We want to make sure we figure a way to help the families.
Absolutely. I'll reach out to him now, God willing. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Appreciate it. Does anybody else have anything they would like to bring up? Thank you, Tova. I appreciate that very, very much. Wow, this is turning like the statewide. We finished an hour early. This past one. Does anybody else have any comment, question, concern?
Matthew, this is Chris. Just give me a second because I'm checking the chat. But I am going to remind everyone on the chat, it is there. Please email Deborah if you have things that needs to be brought to the reimbursement as well. Also, since a lot of us did not do their announcements, I'm going to remind you that it is important that we need to know what service openings you guys have. That's including trainings and events. So the reason is because both councils need to know, because families need to know this. Before I proceed, Nina, do you have anything you want to comment on, as Deborah said?
No, Chris, thank you. Not today.
Thank you, Nina.
Okay, just want to make sure.
And Nina, I just want you and OPW to be aware. The ADM reimbursement, we looked at the non-allowable list. We know that not everything's going to be put on the allowable, and we're being realistic, but we're going by what can be justified and what can't be. So I just want you to know the reason we're going slow is not because we don't want the changes, but we want to make sure we have correct documentation. And again, I say this because I don't want anybody to blame or attack Nina, Robin, Angela, the local DDSOs, DROs, because they did not set up these procedures. And they are trying very hard to work with everyone. All right, I see Sandy Naper has her hand up.
That's what I was just going to say.
Hi, Sandy.
Hi, everybody. I know my colleague Ursula put up the announcement about our terrific summit tomorrow, and I just want to remind everyone that the Adapt Community Network Family Connect Summit will be tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. It's not too late to register. You can register at 3 o'clock in the morning if you want to. But we have a lot of great webinars that we're offering, and we hope to see you there.
Thank you, Sandy. I know you and Ursula, thank you too. Does anybody else have any want to make another announcement? We didn't do it before. Okay.
Does anyone? Oh,
Go ahead, Chris.
Does anyone else have any questions with Deborah's report? Jackie Petrova, do you have any questions for Debbie?
No, I don't have any questions. I speak at every statewide meeting and I've been on every one. So we're just going to push through and make sure that information is out there for families. And I did put my information in the chat.
And hi, Jackie, again. It's Debbie, and I'm really glad that you do show up to the statewide all the time virtually and speak at public session. But if you're also noticing you're having certain issues, could you email me so we can put it in the part? I can put it with Gail so we can put on where we're having problems and what the problems are. Because she asked me if you could please put that in writing. She was very pleased what you did. She said thank you, because we're just trying to make the process more easier for the families and the agencies and the care managers. So I appreciate if you can do that. Thank you.
I can definitely email you what our agency is experiencing and how we can try to assist families just by having clarification of what documentation they need to have in place in order for us to bring it to committee to review so that we can get applications approved for reimbursement. And, you know, we could try and put something together. I just got to run it by my executive director to make sure what I can and can't put in writing at this point.
I understand, but I appreciate, but I also please thank your executive director and everyone at NICET. I appreciate very much that you do show up at every statewide and you bring up what the issues are. And it is noted. And the rest of the members appreciate. I definitely appreciate it because I'm not, even though we are both parents, I'm not on the professional side, so I don't see everything. But I know it. There's issues, but I don't know what is going on. So again, thank you. Anybody else have any questions, concerns? Wow, this is getting good. Anybody?
Just to remind everyone, since you don't have any questions or comments, I am going to remind everyone again, as a broken record, because it's going to be a broken record. It is important if you have, Sandy, give me a second. It is important to please put your information if you have any service openings, trainings, or events. Please make sure you email it to not just to us, but Bryan Rosenstein as well, which his email address is there. And please make sure you visit the both websites. And please encourage your families to also be attending as well. Sandy Naper, your hand is up.
I just wanted to comment that I'm very excited about the possibility of having an in-person meeting in November. And I'm certainly going to try to make it in person. I'll be happy to see everyone.
Yes, Andy, we'd love to see you in person. It's great. Well, I do see you in person because we don't live far from each other. So, but I would be happy to see you, Ursula. I'm happy to see everybody. Also, ladies and gentlemen, bring your own refreshments. It'll be easier for us. We appreciate it. She said that we can have water. I'm not carrying a hot pot. Forgive me. But they do have a place downstairs where you can buy coffee and tea and certain food items. Or bring your own. I'm fine with that. Anybody else? Okay, as you see. And please, everybody. Okay. The Bay Ridge one is at the corner of 73rd Street. We'll fix that. That was a typo. So we'll fix that.
Actually, Madam Chairperson, that came from the library's website. So that's not me, that's them. I already told them. So they're working on fixing that. It's just anything I do, it's copy and paste. So I know somebody's saying something like, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. Please note, I may copy and paste. So if you're sending me stuff, please make sure your spelling is checked before you send it out, please. Thank you. Just to remind everyone, the next advisory council meeting will be in not just in person, but virtual as well. We remind you to please make sure not just you attending, but please bring a family member or let them watch it at your agency location. So therefore, we do need to get a lot of the families, because the legislative committee, as well as the advisory and the DD councils, need to remind our elected officials who represents us to please make sure that funding goes in also. So I am encouraging that. Madam Chair, since we have a little bit of time, do you want me to reverse back to announcements again?
Sure. Does anybody have announcements they'd like to make? You have time. We have time.
I can call them out, each agency, because by law, you do need to know.
Go ahead. Ask. Go ahead and ask. Do you want to do the announcements again, please?
Okay, let's check. Erica T, do you have an announcement?
I put my announcement in the chat box. Heaven's Hands has current openings in our rehabilitation, both in Queens and Brooklyn, which are site-based, as well as our ComHab services. My email and my phone number are both listed in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Erica. I didn't nicolize which Erica it was because because there's a lot of Erica. Sorry about that. But thank you for doing your announcement. Let me scroll down. Sandy, do you have any other additional announcements you want to make? Or I know tomorrow's the conference you already mentioned, but any additional? Like everyone did.
No, it's look good. We're running ahead of schedule.
That's a good schedule. Okay.
Yes. And also, Christopher, let's announce tell everyone I don't know I think they put the statewide meeting up on the OPWDD website. Did they yet?
Not at this time, but they will be announcing that next month.
Okay.
And everyone will see that on our on both council websites. So we'll definitely know. We did see someone just came in named Chris KIA. Can you please identify? Yes.
Hello, Kia.
Hello, Kia. Do you have an announcement?
No. Okay, no problem, Kia.
Okay. Just to remind everyone, since now it's 11:21, I'm going to remind everyone, and I'm scrolling down to the best part of the meeting. Please make sure you all do your part on the council. Please do your parts. If you have any service openings, as you put it on the chat, or somebody who did announce, thank you. Please make sure that if you have anything that's coming up for an event or a training that some of you have done, thank you, please email it to both councils and make sure those families, including you, are visiting our website because we do update our news update page with a lot of new information coming from the state, city, and federal on that. And it is a reminder to all agencies, if you have any service openings, please, you're allowed to announce it, as we told you, to use the hand raise. There's no one should be getting scared to do announcements. But since we are now going to end a little early, Madam Chair, anything you want to add?
Well, I thank everybody who came today. I thank OPWDD, Nina, Robin, and Angela. I thank Brian for being here to help and announce the other committees. And I hope everybody also goes to those meetings. It's very important because we have to advise OPWDD of what help and services our families need. So we also hope everybody will be there next month in person, as well as if you can't, then do it virtually, because we appreciate when everybody comes. So if nobody, and we hope everyone goes to the Brooklyn DD Council's meeting on the 29th of this month, Monday. All right, if nobody else has any more announcements or have any other issues
It's
or
the
things that
28th. Madam Chair, the DD is the 28th.
wait, it's Brian's the 29th. Give me a
No, he said
second.
28th.
You're right. I apologize. It's Monday, the 28th of October. Okay, with that, I stand corrected. Does anybody else have any other information they wanted, anything else they need? Or with that, I'm going once, twice. All right, everybody, thank you so much. I appreciate everybody who came. Have a great day and stay warm today. Take care. Bye, everybody.